and they said 4 foot on center spacing for these screws is completely fine, so we're going to stick with that. I think having less screws kind of looks a little better. It'd be nice to do hidden fastener, but this is just way cheaper than the hidden fastener stuff. We'll have them not 4 foot on spacing where the panels join together, but otherwise it'll all be 4 foot, and those will be the only differences. And then you can see the air gap right along there, what we have. So it's not a bunch of air, it's not a 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch or anything, but it's going to be more than enough. This little 1/8 inch gap there. So mark this out to fit right there. So the trim I'm putting up here is trim that goes around all the doors and the windows. It just covers the edge of the panel so that you can't see the cut edge, and makes it look a little cleaner around all the windows and doors. So we're doing this on every window. Now this specific C trim is only going to go around the sides and the bottom of everything, and then it's going to get like a normal flashing over the top so that water runs off of it and doesn't get stuck in the channel. Real quick, after looking at how I did this, I think I did it the way I shouldn't have. So what I'm going to do next time is extend this bottom piece out, then cut a notch out of this top one so it goes around, so that this overlaps with that, but that if water gets in here, if water gets in the side, it runs down and hits the top of this and out, and doesn't just keep running down. I think that's so 6.5 inches. I hope we did this right. Me too. So when we were putting the panels on the walls, if we had to go around a window and had to put it into the C channel, we would actually have to slide the piece of siding up through that C channel, because you obviously couldn't just put it flat on the wall, it would hit the outside of that channel. So it was a little tough sometimes, but we were able to maneuver it in. The other thing is, for every panel, what we did is got it in place, screwed in one corner of the panel that was usually butted up to the one next to it, and then we put a level on the panel. That way we knew it was completely level, and then screwed the bottom in, and then worked up from the bottom. So like I said earlier, we're using the sill seal to put an air gap in our wall. We're just duct taping it to the wall because we're putting it everywhere we're going to have a screw. We're not putting it places we don't have screws because it's not needed there. Nothing's forcing that panel to the wall right there. But we're putting it places where we're going to screw, and then as we screw the panel in, it screws through that sill seal and connects it to the wall and sandwiches it in there so it's not going to move around. So the duct tape is really just temporary. You can staple it up. I just didn't want to have the metal staple rubbing against the back of the panel and rub through the paint and possibly cause it to rust out there prematurely or something like that. So this was kind of a way for me to not have any more holes in the wall than we needed to, not have metal on metal, and still get it secured. My way. Come on. You're gonna pull your panel up. Yep. Okay. Slide my way. Stop. Okay, can you? There we go. Okay.
So we're fastening our wall panels just like we did our roof panels. The end of every panel gets a screw in every corrugation, and then the middle and the field of the panel you don't have to do in every corrugation. The pattern is you do one at the very bottom, one at the next corrugation up, skip a corrugation, another screw, skip a corrugation, and then you start with those two screws right next to each other again. So in addition to that, all of our screws are going into studs. So we're doing it on 4 foot because our studs are 2 foot on center. And so we know there's going to be a stud every 4 foot. And that helps us secure that panel so we're not just going into that substrate, which is that zip sheathing. The other thing you want to think about while putting these panels up is how you're going to shingle the panels. So in addition for shingling for water, which is the panel on the top would be overlapping the panel below it, so that when water runs down it doesn't go underneath the panels. You want to shingle for wind. So our prevailing winds go from left to right on your screen. And so what we're doing is we're overlapping the panels. So just like the wind was water, that wind isn't going to run underneath the panel and try to pull it off of the wall. Just as an aside for this next section, I forgot to change the preamps in the camera when I switched microphones, so there's virtually no audio for it.